Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the new Cozy Mystery releases for April 2022. This is one of my favorite videos to film every month. I do have a playlist with all the previous ones that will be linked above for you if you want to check out the previous releases from this year and part of last year as well. And let's go and hop into our first book. So I had to start with this one because it's on my 2022 most anticipated releases for the entire year. And this is The Burning Pages, a Scottish bookshop mystery by Paige Shelton. She's one of my favorite cozy mystery writers, and this is my favorite series that she writes. I have one of the books, actually, The Stolen Letter, up here, it's fantastic. So this book is coming out on April 5th, and as usual, it stars our main character, Delaney, who works in this kind of eccentric bookstore in Scotland, which I love the location. It's super interesting to learn a bit about the culture with each read. And she works there, and the shop not only does books, but it does like rare books and some rare artifacts and things kind of related to books. So if you like a bookish cozy mystery, I highly recommend. It's one of my favorite bookish cozy mysteries. But one day she is invited to a Burns family like dinner. So this is, I guess, like a Scottish tradition to celebrate the poet Robert Burns. So she takes one of her coworkers, Hamlet, who's a younger male who has kind of an interesting past, really interesting fun character. So they go to this dinner, and I think there's some tension at the dinner, and they kind of figure out the reason they were invited is because the person who hosting it is like trying to make amends with their boss, who has some interesting history as well. Once you've gotten into the series, I don't want to spoil anything, of course, but so they kind of figure out they were invited for that reason. They leave, and the next day they find out that the Burns house that the celebration was held at was actually burned to the ground. So there's a lot of suspicion about what happened, like who burned it, like what is the motivation, and actually Hamlet ends up being accused in the process of this. So Delaney is on the case again to figure out what happened, and if you love a character-driven, bookish, cozy mystery, I cannot recommend this one enough. Paige Shelton is one of the best cozy writers, in my opinion. She has very complex, interesting plot lines. She has a lot of interesting elements to her books that I like too. There's a lot of themes of arson, bombing, different things that are not just the murder. A lot of cozies will have the murder, but they don't really have other crimes. She usually incorporates some other types of crimes like arson in this case. So I always find that really interesting. So again, this will be released April 5th. All the links for everything I talk about will be down in the description if you want to pre-order or check any of these books out. I'm already on hold number 9 at the library for this book, and I cannot wait. I will be dropping everything and reading it when I get my hands on it. That will be the project. The day I pick it up, I will be sitting there reading this book because it's one of my most anticipated releases. I can't wait to read it. So, moving on to our next book. Our next book is The Vanishing, Type a Charming Bookish Cozy Mystery by Ellery Adams, and this is book 5 in the Secret Book and Scone Society novels, which I love. I think that's a really fun title. How beautiful is this cover? I think it's so cute. I'm a sucker for cozy mystery covers. They just have the cutest covers. So I thought the premise of this cozy mystery was especially interesting. So our main character's name is Nora Pennington, and she runs a bookshop. And so one day she's pulled in by a local who wants help creating a special proposal for his girlfriend, and very sweet. And I guess his girlfriend, her name is Hester. She really loves Little Women, which I have Little Women up here on my bookshelf. It's one of my all-time favorite classics, if not books in general. So the minute I read that, I was like, yes, great, amazing. So he wants to find a special edition of that or something to kind of go with the proposal, something along those lines, or maybe as a gift. However, as they approach the time where the proposal is, Nora's shop ends up being vandalized, and all of the Scarlet Letter books in it are damaged and destroyed, and the character in the Scarlet Letter, her name is Hester as well, is the bride-to-be's name. So Nora is immediately alarmed by this because she knows a secret from Hester's past, that she actually had given up a baby for adoption once. And of course, if you're familiar with the Scarlet Letter, there's a lot of things about having babies out of wedlock, and the comparison with the name Hester, of course. And so she's kind of oh no, is something wrong here? Well, it ends up that someone's body is found, and he might be someone from her past. There's something with the Scarlet Letter that kind of ties it all in together. So they have reason to suspect that Hester's life is in danger, and so Nora and the secret society work together to figure out what's going on, who's coming after Hester, etc. And so this book will be coming out on April 26th. So our next book is a new series entirely. It's called Something Shady at Sunshine Haven, and it's the Accidental Detective book, so book 1 in the series. It's by Chris Bach, and it's going to come out on April 7th, 2022, of course. So this book definitely is like a little less on the humorous side, however it still sounds like a really interesting mystery. The main character's name is Kate, and she's actually, it sounds like a war journalist, like a war correspondent, like journalist, and she's actually injured on the job in a bombing, and so she goes home to Arizona to recover and, you know, from her injuries and just take some time off. However, she's kind of faced with some hard truths when she comes home because her mother is in a nursing home and is struggling with Alzheimer's, so that's understandably extremely difficult on her. And shortly after, an old friend of hers asks her to look into a nursing home in the area because they suspect there might be an angel of death, aka like a serial killer who is taking out the like elderly or sick people, but like making it look like, you know, they died of natural causes basically, which I can't, you know, it's just so hard. I can't even imagine like what goes through somebody's mind. How, like, I love a good mystery novel. Obviously most of them involve murder, but just like thinking about it in real life, I'm like, how does someone get to this point? Anyways, so Kate is on the job and she's quickly trying to figure out what is happening here before the angel of death strikes again, basically. So this sounded like a really interesting one called The Accidental Detective. I kind of like it. Again, amateur sleuth. So it is technically a cozy mystery, however, it's going to be probably a little more serious in tone than, you know, like some of the more humorous, lighthearted, punny ones that we talk about as well. But I like a mixture of both types of cozy mysteries, so I hope you guys would also enjoy this one. It sounds really interesting to me. Let me know if you've read it or if you've read anything else by this author. It just kind of struck me as an interesting case. So our next book is A Margin for Murder. It's part of the Beyond the Page Bookshop mystery. It's book 8 within the series, and it's written by Lauren Elliott. Our main character, Addie, runs a rare like bookstore like that sells like rare editions and things like that. And she's really excited because she's left the bookshop under the watchful care of her assistant and is going to a neighboring town to check out this library, like book sale, because the library, I guess, is closing down. And she's also going to be meeting up with someone who is selling her a bookmobile, which she's hoping to take on the road during the summertime. However, before the bookmobile can arrive to her, there's a fatal crash with the person who's driving the bookmobile to her, and the autopsy reveals that this man was actually poisoned. So now it kind of is like, what happened? Why would someone poison this man, you know, delivering a bookmobile? And there was also a couple of like valuable first editions on board with the bookmobile that are also missing in the process. So Addie is on the case trying to figure out who poisoned this person and why, and where the first editions are, basically. So this one sounds interesting. I did read one book from the series and I wasn't extremely impressed. However, some of you told me what like the particular book I read from the series, because I read one from like the middle, was kind of one of the worst books from the series, and to kind of start from the beginning and it was better. I love the idea of this one, so I do have it on my TBR to read an earlier one, and if I like it I'll probably come back and read this one because I do really like the idea for this. I think it's a cool concept. And I don't think I mentioned it, but this book is coming out April 26, 2022. So our next new release is called A Perilous Perspective. This is part of the Lady Darby mystery series. It is book 10 within the series, and it is a historical fiction cozy mystery. This book is written by Anna Lee Huber, and it's coming out on April 10th. So the main plotline of this is that the book centers around the main character Kiera and her husband Gage, I believe is how you say it, and they're kind of vacationing and visiting some friends and people when they stumble upon this one couple who has, I guess, like a very extensive art collection and like a very notable reputation and wealth in the community, and she notices that one of their paintings looks like a forgery. When she points it out to the woman of the house, she's stonewalled, like the lady's very angry, and so she drops it. However, shortly after this, a maid is found murdered near that same painting. So Kiera and Gage are immediately like, okay, this is really strange to have this like probably like something that's a forgery, to have like a maid that is murdered right there, like right after we were asking about it. So they kind of go on this quest to figure out what happened. Is it actually forgery? Who is trying to cover this up? Why did the maid get murdered and involved in this? Like, what happened here? So I think it's really interesting. It's definitely like a more unique cozy or like mystery type than some of the other ones, I think. It's definitely like a unique plot line, I think. I really like mysteries that involve forgeries. I find them to be really interesting. So this one sounded really interesting to me. Let me know if you have read this series before, because I'm not personally familiar with it, but it sounds really interesting. So our next book is by the popular Lynn Cahoon, and it is called 3 Tainted Teas, and this is part of her Kitchen Witch mystery series. So this book is going to be coming out April 26th. As the name suggests, this is a supernatural cozy mystery, so our main character does have some powers and like witchy powers. Her name is Mia, and so she runs like a catering and cooking school in town, and I think she like infuses magic and things into her food. I haven't personally read this series. Let me know if you like it. I haven't read too many supernatural mysteries, but I'm kind of intrigued. So Mia is asked last minute to be a like wedding caterer planner for this couple in town. The like families of the couple that are about to be married have had like a long-term feud going on. There's a lot of tension, but Mia wants to make sure that this event goes off without a hitch to make it really delightful for the couple on their special day, of course. However, when she picks up the work from the previous wedding planner, she realizes that the other wedding planner was murdered, and she's actually suspected in the murder. However, she knows, she didn't do it, and so now she's like, am I next? Like, what's happening? Who's trying to stop this wedding? What's going on? So that's kind of the theme of this. I think the cover is really cute. I love the Lynn Cahoon covers and artwork in general. I find they're just really pretty, but I thought this one sounded interesting. Let me know if you've read this series. I haven't personally, but it sounds pretty interesting. So our next book is called A Plot Most Perilous, a Cassie Gwynne Mystery Book. This is book 2 within the series. How fun is this cover? I love the colors so much. This book will be released April 1st, and it is by Genevieve Essig. It's a very British name. I'm probably saying that wrong. Genevieve Essig. So this historical fiction cozy mystery takes place in 1883 in America, and the main character, Cassie, is a book lover, a cat lady. She has a lot of fun quirks and aspects about her, and the plot line of this book kind of starts when a theater group comes to town, and Cassie can't resist signing up to be one of the chorus girls. So she's quickly enjoying rehearsing. However, there's a lot of strange things happening around the theater, like things are broken, costumes are going missing, and shortly after, the lead actor has like a very scary accident. And when I say scary, I mean he had a fatal accident, and she quickly suspects that there's some foul play involved. So when Cassie goes backstage to investigate, she discovers a clue that leads her to think that this was not an accident, that maybe someone from the public was back there, or someone who wasn't supposed to be was back there. So she quickly starts investigating this, trying to figure out what happened to the lead actor and why anyone would want to take him out. And in the process, her own life is put at risk. So this one sounded really interesting. I cannot express how much I love the cover. I love the bright blue and yellow with this. It's so gorgeous. Gorgeous cover. Love historical fiction, so this one sounded really interesting. Let me know if you've read this series. I haven't, but it looks really good. Our next book is called Clinical Trials and Death by Patty Larson. This is book 8 within the Fleming Investigations cozy mystery series. Really cute cover again. And so our main character's name is Fiona, and she's asked to examine this like drug testing case, basically like a medical like drug test, to see if there's like, if people are like fudging results, if it's an authentic, fair test of the drug basically. But she quickly discovers that one of the trial doctors he ends up like dead, and so she's like trying to figure out, is this like drug, like does it work? Is something being covered up? Like what's going on? And the drug is supposed to cure cancer, but does it really? And so she's kind of on this case trying to figure out why someone would want to take this doctor out. Does the drug work? Is something being covered up, etc. So I think it sounds like an interesting premise. This book will be out April 26th. So on April 5th, we have our Persian Blue Puzzle, which is a true blue mystery series. I love the Persian blue wordplay there. This is written by Susan Paige Davis, and it is book 3 within the series. Our main character's name is Campbell, and she's recently moved into a new neighborhood, and one of her neighbors, her cat, goes missing. So she goes on the case trying to figure out what the cat is, and in the process she hears some strange rumors about like kind of a swindler in town who's like offering investment, like financial deals, but is kind of like he's a con man basically. So she's kind of concerned about that, and somehow it doesn't quite explain the summary, but she ends up visiting a psychic for, I don't know if it's help with this case or maybe the psychic has knowledge on the case. I'm not really sure. It doesn't quite explain it in the summary. But shortly after that, the psychic actually disappears after a customer complaint. So this one sounded kind of interesting. It's a very unique, like darker looking cover, which kind of caught my attention, and I really loved the title. So let me know if you're familiar with this one. I'm not, but it sounded really cool. So our next one is called Adventure, Abduction, and Arrest by Tonya Capps, and this is part of the Camper and Criminals Cozy Mystery series. This is book 25 out of 26. So if you like this book, you will have reading up to your ears, basically. This book comes out on April 28th, and it's described, I had to quote this from the description because it was so good, Southern hospitality with a smidge of homicide. Someone had fun writing that. I really wasn't able to find much of a summary on this particular book, but she is a USA Today best-selling author, and it's supposed to be set in Kentucky. Obviously, it has something to do with campers. The covers are really cute, I will say that, but that's pretty much all it really said in the description. There wasn't a whole lot on that, but if you are a fan of the series, this one is coming out this month. Our next book is called Fake Death, a British Cozy Murder Mystery. This is book 1 in a new series. The series is called A Dotty Sayers Antique Mystery, and it is written by Victoria Tate. So this book sounded super interesting. It is set in England. The main character is Dotty, and she has just recently lost her husband at a very young age. She is a widow, and she has just gone to like the funeral for her husband and some other fallen soldiers when she's approached by the authorities or military to look at some items they had found, because there's another soldier who had passed away in the line of duty, but he's unidentified. So they're trying to figure out who this man is, of course. And when she's looking at the belongings of this man, she kind of gets confused because I guess there's multiple people that these belongings point to, so it's not very clear. In the process, she starts looking after the man's British blue cat, which is on the cover. How cute. That's one of my favorite. If I had a cat, it would be one of these British cats. I love them. They're so cute with the pushed-in face. Love the British short hair, that's what it's called. Anyways, so she's looking after the cat, and as she does that, she realizes the more she digs into this mystery that the wrong people are being suspected of the crime, and there's a cover-up going on potentially. It's very interesting. The summary doesn't quite go into it, of course, because they're trying not to spoil anything, but it sounds like there's some cases of maybe mistaken identity. There's an unidentified man who was, killed in the line of duty. It sounds like someone might be falsely imprisoned, and Dotty is on the case trying to sort through all the clues, tons of things that are going on to make sure that the right person is put in jail, not someone who doesn't deserve that, all in the process while looking after this man's cat, which the cat's really cute. So if you love cats and if you like a British cozy mystery, this one sounds like it's going to be really fun. Our last book is called The Reluctant Renfield. It's the vegan vamp mystery series. This is book 8 within the series. This book will be coming out on April 9th, and it's by Kate Lawley. And so our main character's name is Mallory. I'm assuming she's the vegan vamp, and she's the one on the cover, I'm thinking. And I guess she runs into her old friend Bitsy, who is having these really strange, violent, scary dreams. And she's trying to help her sort through that. I'm not sure if Bitsy is also a vampire. Maybe she is. Not really sure. But Bitsy starts kind of getting almost possessed or acting out these aggressive dreams, which of course is very worrisome. And so Mallory and Alex, I don't know if that's a boyfriend, it doesn't really say, are on the case trying to figure out and help Bitsy before anything happens, essentially. So this one, I'm gonna say it's definitely not my kind of mystery. I'm like I said, I'm not the biggest supernatural mystery person, but I thought this would be fun. I wanted to throw it in case any of you watching are into the supernatural mysteries. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know down below what books are you most excited for this month. Again, if you have not already hit subscribe, I hope you will. My name is Amy Marie, and I do post new book and mystery content every single week, so I'd love it if you join me on my channel. I do upload these new cozy releases every single month, along with other holiday releases or new series releases, so we'd love to have you as part of our little family here. I do apologize if my voice is a little weak. It's starting to die a little bit from talking so much, but I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!